Welcome to this conversation with Professor Noam Shomron. He's the head of Functional Genomic Laboratory at Tel Aviv University. His work is quite important. He explored how genes are regulated and how this knowledge can transform the way that we care about people. So from artificial intelligence in science to groundbreaking non-invasive prenatal testing, this is like the one sentence we can summarize the work of Professor Shomron. So welcome to Pesquisa Javeriana.
Thank you for having me here.
So I want to start particularly with that. Artificial intelligence today is in everywhere. So I want to ask you, how is present in your science and how this tool improve or increase your research?
I want to say that this is exciting even as much as the first trip on the internet. I remember the first time, many years ago, where I studied my bachelor's degree and I sat in front of the computer and someone told me there's a World Wide Web where all the computers around the world are connected and you can ask any question you want. All the information in the world are on this computer. And I sat and I wrote a few queries and I looked at it and I said, wow, this is amazing. This is democratizing the information. Everybody, anywhere can access the information. And I feel the same feeling now with AI. So now we have all the information, but we can't grasp it. So this second stage in our technology allows us not only to access all the data, but also to parse the data, to read the data, to understand it. If I have a lecture tomorrow morning, and I want to read 100 publications in order to understand whether they are in favor or against what I'm going to talk about.
You're going to need a time machine or something like that.
I need a time machine. I'll need 100 students. I'll just need a magic AI machine where I can punch all the data and get it summarized, in a few seconds or a few minutes. So this is amazing. This allows me to interact not with my 20 students, but actually I can interact with 10,000 students. And I can send them, with homework, and they'll come back before I have time to read all the replies. And it's extremely exciting. It's extremely innovative. It could really leap our ability to collect data, to understand data, to parse the data, but also to generate new hypotheses, but also to ask it to be very critical to my ideas. So I can have a conversation with Albert Einstein and ask him to be very critical on what I do.
Okay.
And, very often it will not work. But we know that these tools are getting better from day to day. And what we see today is nothing compared to the tools we'll have, in a few weeks, months, and in a few years.
Sure. So artificial intelligence can process a huge amount of information in a very short time. And you work with DNA. There is a huge amount of information that make the extraction that how we work and how we behave,
Yeah.
and even I think how we believe in things around us. So how understanding DNA is important and how AI make a boost to that comprehension process.
I want to say that AI could in particular help biology and medicine because we don't have a regulation book. We don't have the code of life. We don't understand it. It's multiple levers that we know and we know that we don't know. And therefore we need maybe a much smarter machine than a human brain with a lot of intuition and ability to integrate lots of data just in order to parse it and understand it. It's a much higher level on understanding how a cell works, how an organ works, and how the body works. But just by integrating these tools, we could do much better. The DNA itself obviously is one layer, because there's genetics, epigenetics, environment, and so on. What I'm trying to say is there's multiple levels. DNA is one of them. We have many of them. DNA is 0 and 1s, We have 4 letters, A, G, T, and C. At some point, we'll understand that it's not enough. 0 ones are fine, but you have to open the book, you have to read it, you have to interpret it. Multiple levels, AI is here to help us, It's probably not the same AI we use today. It's the AI that will come out in a few months or in a few years. It'll be much easier. I'm not sure that our lives will be easier. It'll be more complex. We will get more hypothesis-driven results and information. Eventually, we'll have to prove it as well. But the error would decrease, the success would increase, and this is the idea anyhow in everything we do in science.
It's quite awesome. That excites me a lot because it's quite interesting. I want to ask you, what is the common misconception about DNA?
We used to think that DNA is everything.
Okay.
DNA is not everything. We used to think that DNA is the only hereditary molecule. It's probably not the only hereditary molecule.
Okay.
RNAs, experiences that the previous generation have undergone are not always imprinted in the DNA. Surely not changing the sequence itself, you can change chemical modifications on it. But also RNA molecules could also experience the environment and be passed from one generation to the other. I will not be surprised if we find eventually additional information that passes throughout generation, which is not only based on DNA or RNA, on other molecules as well.
Okay, so you're saying that DNA is not everything, and there are other elements that could be inherited to subsequent generation. And exclusively, your work is about that about how some disease could be detected before the person is even born, and how testing the pregnant mother, you can assess that kind of elements that are DNA, but also RNA. How works that non-invasive prenatal testing?
Okay, so you're putting me in the corner. First, I say that DNA is not that important. Okay. And now that you're saying that our work is on DNA, that's correct. So first of all, I'm saying it's a huge building, and we're taking at the moment one layer by one layer, okay, or two layers, or three, not more than 3 layers at a time. Okay. During pregnancy, for example, we take a blood test at week 10 to 12, the first trimester of a pregnant woman.
Okay.
And we keep these tubes, and we make sure that pregnancy either undergoes well, or in some cases there are various diseases. So we have this tube. From this tube of the pregnant mother in the first trimester, we can extract tiny pieces of DNA. Tiny pieces of DNA, which is a mixture of the mother's DNA and the embryo's DNA who's in the mother's blood. 10% of the DNA in the mother's blood in the first trimester comes from the embryo. However, to tell it apart is complex. So we wrote an algorithm that could really identify whether the tiny piece of DNA is from the mother or the embryo. Wow. We did that billions of times. We have a large bag of mother's DNA, a smaller bag of embryonic DNA. Now we rebuilt the embryonic DNA from beginning to end, so we have the entire embryonic DNA, 3 billion nucleotides, at a simple blood test at week 10. Wow. However, so this is the basic level, this is genetics. Is there a point mutation that can cause a detrimental disease later in development, or maybe after birth at a very early age? Okay. But we have the tube. The tube doesn't only have DNA, it has RNA in it. We extract the RNA, we waited for the end of the pregnancy. Some of the mothers suffered from preeclampsia. Okay. Some of them suffered from GDM, from diabetes. Okay. We went back to the freezers of week 10, we extracted the RNA, and we asked if the mother is under stress or is undergoing very initial stages of preeclampsia, GDM, or preterm birth, or other types of diseases or syndromes, maybe we could see the signal in the RNA, because it's an environmental thing. It's a stressful thing. It's something that you can identify not in the DNA, but in the RNA. So that's what we did. We took future preeclampsia, future GDM, future preterm labor. We sequenced it, we compared it to our control group. I want to say it's an easy project. You have future sick, future healthy. We asked the computer to divide it into 2 groups, cluster the 2 groups. We found 25 RNA molecules that predict future preeclampsia. Now, the idea of identifying it early is because you can prevent it if you take aspirin and you start it before week 16.
Wow. That's actually like building a real time machine in order
This is
to
building
see
a time
the
machine.
future.
That's what I say in my lectures. I say, we have a time machine. We go back in time to the first trimester and we'll tell the mother that she will be sick.
In 2 or 3 sentences, what will be the story of your science?
Make an impact, save lives.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, and thank you in behalf of Pesquisa Javeriana.
Thank you.